England 1936, the grip of the Sabbath day. In London town the only sound is a whisper in an alleyway. Men put on their gloves and boots, have a smoke before they go. From the west there is a warning of a wind about to blow. Like seas are marching to the east, Matthews Mosley with his men, dressed in the clothes of deepest black, like a gathering hurricane. This is the British Union with its flag of black and red, a flag that casts a shadow in Berlin and in Madrid. Listen to the sound of marching beats and the voices of the ghosts of cable streets. Precious stones and battles and the gun. With courage we shall beat those black shirts down. So mile by mile they come on down to a place called Cable Street. Another men are waiting there, preparations are complete. Mosley comes so close they now can see his outstretched arm. A hand raised up that way never took the future in his palm. Listen to the sound of marching beats and the voices of the ghosts of Cable Street. Precious stones and battle wounds and the gun. With courage we shall beat those black shirts down. The battle broke as the bliss and the banners fell. Through the barricades past the sound of a wounded yell. Jack Spot crept through with a chair leg made of lead. Brought down a crushing blow on Mosley's head. We learn from history, generations have to fight, and those who crave for mastery.
Okay, hi, my name is Arno. I'm here to talk about Cable Street Battle and how does it affect the Jewish community in the 1930s. So the British Union fascists, led by Oswald Mosley, benefit from financial support and political encouragement from the capitalists. In the context of the profound economy and social crisis in the 1930s, the black shirts, named black shirt because they are part of the fascist movement, as the German Nazis developed their organization and based their ideology on the anti-Semitic propaganda. They considered the Jews as the cause of poverty and unemployment in the in Great Britain in 1930s. So the Jewish population in London was settled in East London, mostly in East London. That's why the British Union of Fascists decided to do a demonstration walking through through East London. The announcement of the demonstration, of the fascist demonstration, which had to cross this area on the 4th October 1936, provoked the reaction of the Labour community of London, which chose to support the Jewish. The mobilization was general. A petition to ban the demonstration was filed in vain. The only way for the Labour movement and for the Jewish to stop the fascist demonstration was to face them physically in the street. This confrontation enters the annals of the British Labour movement as the Battle of Cable Street.
Hello everyone, my name is Ibrahim and today I will be discussing whether solidarity stopped fascism or helped it. But first, let's talk about the Battle of Cable Street. In the 1930s, Sir Oswald Mosley led the British Union of Fascists on mass demonstrations. These demonstrations often ended in violence. After 2 years of marching into largely Jewish areas, the Battle of Cable Street finally broke out on October 4th, 1936. Irish workers, as well as London Jews, got into fights with the police and Mosley's black shirts. Legislation was passed to prevent these demonstrations from reoccurring, but Sir Oswald Mosley remained unapologetic.
The men who did the street fighting, who led it, were the very flower of the English army. Men, again, as I say, wearing every medal for gallantry and drawing to them
You
similar...
can see that Mosley wasn't too happy about this. Anyways, was the Battle of Cable Street a victory for solidarity over fascism? Yes, it was. Not only because of the 1936 public order which banned marching in uniforms and required future march organizers to seek permission from the police, but because of the legacy it left behind. The Battle of Cable Street is remembered by millions of people from all over the world.
Hello everybody, my name is Ali and today we are here at Cable Street in the East End of London to tell you about the importance of the mural which was painted by Dave Winnington Savage, Paul Butler and Desmond Rockford between 1979 and 1987 to commemorate the Battle of Cable Street in 1936. And also, why is it important to the Jewish community in the 1930s? On the 4th of October 1936, Sir Oswald Mosley, along with 5,000 of his black shirts, was to march in uniform from the Tower of London to the East End of London, which was heavily populated by the Jews, Irish and other immigrant ethnicities. The march was to be a triumphant march for Mosley and his fascist legion. The events depicted on the mural epitomize the fight against fascism and far-right activism in London. In the 1930s, an estimated 300 Jews of the East End, along with Irish dockers, communists, Labour Party members, trade unionists and residents of the East End had come together to oppose the black shirts of the BUF, which stood for the British Union of Fascists. The BUF, led by Sir Oswald Mosley, was a political party with fascist beliefs and methods that resembled that of Hitler's Nazis. Though the party was banned in 1940 by the British government as it was regularly being associated to Nazi Germany and anti-Semitism by the press, Sir Oswald Mosley stood his ground by maintaining his statement as the Jews were not good for the English Empire and that was to stop the Jews from starting a war with the Germany that he had planned on marching down the East End. The procession was a legally approved one and hence Sir Oswald Mosley argued that it was the Jews who illegally, forcibly prevented the march. In Sir Oswald Mosley's opinion, it was not a march against the Jews as a community, but some of them who were trying to start a war with Germany in support of the Jews in Germany who were under attack from Hitler. And Sir Oswald Mosley did not want that to happen. As being a former army man, he realized that it would cause a lot of bloodshed and innocent English lives will be wasted.